Hello, and welcome to More Than Books with the Warren County Library. I'm your host, Sandy Roberts. Usually you'd find me in the library makerspace holding classes on everything from crafting to coding, but all that changed in March of 2020 when our library closed due to COVID-19. That's when our intrepid band of library staff put technology to good use and moved everything online. We offered activities on Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom. We taught patrons to use our many digital resources, and we created a curbside pickup system to lend books. We adapted. So as part of our effort to offer more to our patrons during this very challenging time, we've started this podcast. Every 2 weeks, we'll share upcoming programs, exciting news, interviews, tutorials, and more with you. Our hope is that this will give you the tools you need to make the most of that library card. Because these days, your library is so much more than books. Okay, well, welcome once again to More Than Books with the Warren County Library System. My name is Sandy Roberts, and I'm your Makerspace Coordinator. We have a lot of really exciting Halloween-inspired fun at the library this month. We've still got, about 10 days left to our October Spooktacular programming. So I wanted to make sure that we talk about some of the amazing things we have coming up. Obviously, all month we have our Spooktacular Reading Challenge, and there's still time to jump in on that. Just go to the website. You're going to use Beanstack, earn virtual badges, and real prizes. We also have Halloween, autumn trivia going on all month long, so you can check out the website to get involved in that, and that's also on Facebook, our Facebook page. Now, the calendar is just packed right now. So, for our younger patrons, we have Spooky Stories this Thursday at 7. We have Mummy at the Mansion on Saturday at 10:30 in the morning, and that's going to be a fun, interactive, animated story. We have Halloween Make-up on Friday at 1 p.m., and this is by Art Without Borders. Just some really great tips to make your Halloween makeup amazing. We have mask making next week on the 29th at 6:30, and that's all ages, so that's a great family activity, as is the Halloween escape room on Halloween. That's going to be all day that you can do as a family. It's a passive item. You don't have to log in on Zoom, so you can have fun together. Next week on this week, Thursday at 2 p.m., we have our adult arts program with pumpkins done 3 different ways, so you can really get your creative juices going and get some wonderful holiday decor going. That's with Mary Ellen, so if you've ever seen her live streamed programs on Facebook, that's really fun. We of course have for our young patrons the virtual Halloween party coming up on October 27th. So make sure you check the calendar for that. Make sure you register for that, because that's going to be on Zoom, so we can all get to share our costumes. Next Monday, we have Bookopolis, and they'll be reading Coraline. And if you sign up for that, you get a little bag of snacks, you get a copy of the book and everything. So that's going to be really fun. Fantastic book. If you haven't read it, now is definitely the time of year to do it. On November 2nd, just past Halloween, we have our Day of the Dead Sugar Skulls presentation. So definitely check that out. That's going to be on Zoom. Going to go through the history of sugar skulls, learn how to make them yourself, and you'll get a little ceramic sugar skull to decorate. We obviously have our regular Maker Mondays at 3 p.m. on Mondays, Lego Challenge at 3 p.m. on Wednesdays, and Friday Steam every week at 3, all Halloween activities for the rest of the month. We have our story times, Tuesdays at 1:30 with Miss Lena, and Friday at 10 a.m. with Miss Erin. I hope I got it all. That is just a ton of amazing programming coming up in just the next week and a half. So make sure you go to our website at warrenlib.org, warrenlib.org, and click on the event calendar. And from there, you can register for all of these programs and get all the information that you need. Also, you can try using our app. You can download that onto your iPhone or your Android-based phone, and you can register for programs right from the app. And, with all these wonderful things going on, you don't want to miss anything. I do have 3 programs we're going to highlight for you today. First up is Laura Hoffman, who is the founder and director of the New Jersey Ghosthunter Society. And she's doing a program for us next week called Haunted New Jersey, all about the rise of spiritualism in New York earlier in the century, and ghosts and ghost spots here in New Jersey. So we're going to listen to a short clip about that. Then I have an interview with Stephen Davis of Centenary University. He's doing this Theatrical Make-up Blood, Guts, and Gore program tonight at 7 p.m. That is waitlisted right now, but if you get on the waiting list, you will get a Zoom, you will get a recording of the Zoom, so you could still learn the techniques. That's a really fascinating interview, really exciting stuff. This Saturday, we have Edgar Allan Poe. We're going to have two performers doing a live reenactment of Edgar Allan Poe. This is for the whole family, nothing too scary. And that's by Bright Star Touring Theater. Going to be over Zoom. And I have a nice interview with Josh, their director. So that's all coming up in this episode. We've got a lot to get through today. So why don't we jump right in? So we're going to start with a program taking place tonight at 7 p.m. Online through Zoom. This is for 13 and up, so teens and adults and families. And it's called Theatrical Make-up Workshop, Blood, Guts, and Gore. This is with a very talented theatrical makeup professor from Centenary University, Stephen Davis. And the workshop is, all about the basics of makeup application, trauma simulation, vampires, zombies, all that kind of gross and fun Halloween makeup. So this is a really fun interview that I hope that you enjoy. So hello and welcome to More Than Books. Today we have with us Stephen Davis, who is a professor at Centenary College, right?
Centenary University. We changed.
University, I'm sorry, yes.
Totally cool.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
A couple of things. When I was in undergrad at the theater school at DePaul University in Chicago, Illinois, I took part in a year-long makeup class, and that was my sophomore year in college. And then after that makeup class, I was a makeup assistant helping to teach the class in the classroom for 2 years. That was my work study when I was in college. Upon graduating, my first job right out of school with my undergraduate degree in theater and acting was as a makeup artist. And so I started doing, getting jobs as a makeup artist, supporting productions, worked for the Lyric Opera of Chicago, and started working a Halloween trade show that happened in Chicago, Illinois, for the Ben Nye Makeup Company, which is based in Los Angeles. And Dana Nye, the president of the Ben Nye Company, said, if you want a job, you have one, if you want to relocate to Los Angeles. And I was like, wow.
That's a big change.
Yeah, so in 1999, I left Chicago and I moved to Los Angeles and worked for the Ben Nye Makeup Company from 1999 to 2002, teaching makeup all over the country and selling makeup and answering questions about makeup for productions to assist people with theatrical makeup. I then went off to graduate school, got my MFA in directing, theater, and then I was working in New Jersey at the Shakespeare Theater of New Jersey, and I started teaching there in the summer for their summer professional training program. I love their performance. And one thing led to another, and in 2008 I started working as an adjunct faculty member at Kane University, teaching theatrical makeup and acting and a number of other things and directing shows for them. And I have been teaching there as an adjunct ever since.
Wow.
I got the job here at Centenary University in 2009 and have been teaching a theatrical makeup class here every single spring semester. I teach in the fall at Kane University, a theatrical makeup class, and I teach in the spring here. Okay. This year has been interesting because
I bet
the makeup, COVID, wow, those are some challenges. But this summer I shot I went through 10 lectures and shot them all on video for theatrical makeup. And been teaching with those lectures in my classroom, and the lectures that I shot on video on trauma simulation and blood, guts, and gore, I will be sharing with the library next Wednesday. And to me, it's a great way to express yourself. I think it's what I'm finding with the students is actually the detail that's in the video. Sometimes when you're teaching, you might miss a slight detail. The great thing is I can reiterate and emphasize certain points after we've watched the video. And the other thing is I don't have to clean up afterwards. So I'm not wasting time in terms of it.
Yeah.
But it's been great. In the library system, I've done a lot of different workshops. This is actually a picture from one of the workshops I did at the Shakespeare Theater in New Jersey when we did a simulation workshop there with some zombies. And I always mix it in with a little stage combat too. But to me, it's something that is a really exciting way to explore theater. I did a stage fighting and makeup workshop for the Somerset Library System, and I did that for 5 different summers.
Wow.
I've been doing that since 2009. So to me, it's just an exciting way to bring people into the theater that have this kind of creative element, and right around Halloween is great.
It's kind of perfect timing, right? Everybody wants to be a little more theatrical at Halloween.
Yeah. And then you'll go to Spirit Halloween and you'll buy this little kit of makeup and you're like, what do I do with this? And so to me, it's like, we're going to watch these videos and then I'm going to start answering questions. And during the course of this, I'm going to transform my face into a zombie. So while I'm lecturing and we're watching these videos, and in between them, and I might even show some videos on animal makeup, cats or dogs or apes or anything like that. So, trying to make the most of the time that I have. If I have 90 minutes, I'm going to use 90 minutes.
And it sounds like you're able to really kind of personalize it based on what questions folks are asking.
And that's what makes it great, because the fact of the matter is they're going to come with a question that is pertaining to something that they're interested in. And if I can give them more information about that, and to me, it's always like, I like handouts. I like giving as much information as possible. I want to empower the user to make the most of their time. To have a library system that understands the importance of programming and to understand the importance of programming right now. People are looking for activities to keep themselves, their children, everyone engaged. Since it is trauma simulation, it's really recommended for teens. I've had elementary school students take the class before, so it has a wide range of age, but it's more teen and adult, a teen program. And for the library system, it's always that teen program is something that is difficult to engage.
Really hard to get the teens to come on out for programs at the library, really challenging. I think this is something, I know both of my kids I have 2 teenage girls. They're really into cosplay. They are so excited for this workshop because, you go on YouTube and you try and watch videos, but like you were saying, you can't ask questions, you can't get feedback, and so, it can be kind of frustrating, and you brought up, getting stuff at like Spirit Halloween. I mean, is that good makeup or are there better sources for makeup that people can use?
You have to understand, I work for the Batenhorst makeup company. They manufacture every single piece of their makeup in Los Angeles, California. So I know the quality control. Gotcha. I know the ways in which they're making this makeup. Batenhorst is the gold standard. Gotcha. You look at Maron, you look at Krylon. Maron is manufactured not in the United States. Krylon, not in the United States. And the fact of the matter is, made in the USA matters. And as far as I'm concerned, in terms of quality control, it matters. So Batenhorst is manufactured in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. So they are manufacturing makeup for the Hollywood industry. They do all Cirque du Soleil's makeup. They do makeup all internationally. But the quality control, every single makeup is stamped with a date that tells you, they have tracking records of who poured it, when it was poured, what they tried, when it was packaged, all that stuff that when I was working there, I saw firsthand. Now, when you go into Spirit Halloween, I'm not saying that this makeup isn't good or bad, but there's a couple things that people always need to ask themselves. Are you allergic to bees? Because the major component in cream-based makeup is beeswax.
Oh, wow.
A couple of students who had a skin irritation to the beeswax product. And a lot of times what is recommended, you put a little bit of some lotion on your face beforehand and then use a base that works with your skin. Then you can do the painting on top of it. Or a pancake makeup, which is water activated, that has no beeswax in it. But we have different irritations to our skin, so we have to realize that there are things that might interfere with the work that we're doing. In one of the videos, I use liquid latex. Some people are allergic to latex. There are alternatives, but a lot of times we want to, number one, do no harm. We want people to be educated and excited about this. The last thing we want is that a fake trauma simulation makeup turns into a not fake formulation.
Yeah. And you know,
So,
I even as a parent, those are some things, you know, the allergy issue I wouldn't have even thought of. I mean, like I have a latex allergy, you know, and so that's, you know, something I would not even, you know, really considered. But it's good to know that there are American made products that are going to just be, I mean, I would imagine it reduces frustration too if you're using a quality product.
yes. And as far as I'm concerned, you know, I know the amazing thing is I was talking to Dana, and I contacted the company. I mean, I used to work for them, so I send emails, I get responses the same day. But that's the way they are in terms of customer service with everyone. And really, they want you to go to their dealers. Like Norcosco Eastern Costume Company is the big distributor in New Jersey. And they want you to go to them. They don't want you to go direct. And in fact, actually, you can get the products cheaper at a distributor than you can if you go direct, because you're paying for shipping.
Right.
Retail cost. You're not getting any discounts.
And then you're helping to support a local economy too, which is important.
Very important. And these are things that I think in terms of, we've always should have been mindful of it, but it's more important even now.
Right.
So if you're going to a Spirit Halloween, you're pulling something off because it's convenient, it's quick, that's great. But it's interesting to note that like the color combinations that they have, like for a bruise kit that they have at Spirit Halloween, are all like the same tone, when in reality it's better to work with things that are different color combinations, because a bruise is not just red and black tones, it's multiple colors. So for me, it's about color theory. It's about understanding anatomy in the human body and how it works.
Yeah.
So for me, this is the further education of this. What I found in teaching makeup in the Zoom format is that I can address, in just looking in the screen, I can see the way someone's painting and I can address it. And I say, we're going to go to speaker view, talk. And I'm like, oh, you're doing really good on your right side because you're right-handed. When you're going over to the left, you're putting too much pressure. If you brace your arm and do it, you're going to get more attention and specificity. But it's that, even in a Zoom format, I'm finding that I'm able, as an instructor, to impart the information. The one thing that Zoom doesn't give us is the quality of the picture. So for my classes right now, the students are taking digital pictures and then posting them to our private social media on Facebook, so that I can see the detail of what they're doing. So I love it. I've been painting in theatrical makeup since 1991. You know, I always love telling my students, I've been painting longer than you've been alive. So if you think you can just get this and it's week one, then, you know, you can teach the class. But that's actually what I care about. I want I know how to do this.
Right.
I want them to know how to do it. And a lot of times when I'm watching these tutorials, I'm like, wait a second. You just showed this great, fabulous makeup, but you never really explained the detail and the specificity of how to get from A to B.
Yeah, and that's really where the skill building comes in, right? The details really matter.
And if you're a painter or you're an artist or you have this prior learning in other areas, this is the way that you can apply that. My painting skills, my sculpture skills when I was in high school, because I actually thought I was going to study that before I really got into theater, this is how I can apply that knowledge now.
Right.
And to me, it's such an exciting avenue. And I'm so happy that so many of my students have gone on to makeup school, have gone on to do this, because to me, that's the paying it forward.
Right.
And the more that I can pay it forward, the better. And this is another tool in the toolbox that just is exciting. Not everyone can say, I'm a makeup artist. So, you know, it's a really exciting and fun way. And I'm excited because we already have 20 people registered for the class on
I know,
Wednesday.
it's fantastic.
And we're going to do a wait list. And I told the library, because you want to get those numbers into the library, I said, make the videos available for people who sign up, even if they're on the wait list, because the more the merrier. And libraries are such an important resource for a community, that having that resource and getting people excited and realizing these free programs for the population is such a vital part of how a library makes an impact.
It's a great equalizer, right? And you might have a kid that can be inspired and consider, you know, a future in the theater or doing makeup artistry, and they may never have had any other opportunity to be exposed to something like that.
Exactly. And to me, it's like I got a degree in acting, but my first two jobs were as a fight choreographer and a makeup artist. And yes, I got other jobs. I got the Super Bowl commercial, all these other things. But the reality is, it's those other tools, it's those other skills that have been consistent work in
Right.
my business and in my life as an educator, that I find if I can impart that to someone else, and that enthusiasm, excitement, which is why, it is blood, guts, and gore. But to me, it's like, okay, now let's do a cat and add blood, guts, and gore. Let's do a scar makeup that we can do this to. So it's that kind of layering of techniques that, for me, that's where the artistry comes in.
Yeah, when you see people combine things in unique ways, in new ways.
And that's
really exciting.
So exciting to be a teacher, because I get, like, I'm going to lead this Zoom call and I'm going to go to my Zoom class, and I get to see all these students have their interpretation of lessons that I've taught. And so often, one of the things I'm going to be teaching is I'm going to be taking breakfast cereal, like Fruit Loops, and with a mortar and pestle, grinding it down into a fine dust. With a little bit of makeup, you can do the same bruise with the same color combinations with Fruity Pebbles. Wow. So it's like that stuff. I learned that from a student. The student brought that to the table, and I was like, I never would have thought of that.
Isn't that the best part of teaching, is when they teach you something new? That's what it's all about.
Reciprocal learning. And in the classroom, I'm never going to shut myself off from realizing that I can learn just as much from a student that they can learn.
100%. Yeah, so you kind of went over this, but what should people expect when they show up to your program?
When they show up to my program, there's a couple of things that the students should expect. One, we're going to learn. I'm going to make as much of the time as possible. If I look at the clock and I still have time left, I'm going to put another video on, and then another video on, and then another video on. Because the fact of the matter is you've put time aside to come learn from me. And I always have this policy, it's come and go. If a student, in this day and age, if you got to go somewhere, you got to go somewhere. I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire, but I'm going to talk about things. If we see something and a question comes up, they can put it in the chat. I can answer those questions as we're going through the video. Once the video is going through, I'll be able to kind of reiterate certain things if people have questions. If they have questions pertaining to something that they have from their kit, if they have something specific, a specific question on a skeleton makeup or something that they want to kind of learn some tricks of the trade, we'll talk about that as well. And while it's going on, like I said, I'm going to be transforming myself while this is all going on. So while the video is going on, I'm going to be doing stuff to my face and be talking about it. So the great thing is that the videos through the library will be available to the participants for a period of time, so they can refresh themselves and look back on it. And
that is the beauty of video. Yeah, that you have that opportunity.
Yeah, and to me, it's about, I want to encourage people to learn. I want everybody to learn. If mom or dad kind of sits down and goes, "Oh wow," and wants to be a part of it too, then that's great, because then it's a family event. The one thing that I haven't gotten in the library is, like, I could give like the list of the materials that I use in the lectures, so that can be something that people can use later. And I'll put that together and I'll send that to the library as well. But to me, the lessons are all there. The 2 videos that I have, each one is about 20 minutes. And we might have other things that we go through. But as questions come up, I'm like, okay, I'm going to answer that question. In fact, I'm going to show you that question. and so that I can either show it on my face as I lecture from my office, or being able to say, you know what, that's a great question. Let me get back to you. Let me get information to the librarians at the library so that they can get that to you.
Right.
Because I don't know everything. And
none of us do.
And thank God we don't.
Because, right? Life would be pretty boring.
It would be. It would be very boring. So, I want it to be as informative as possible. And really engage the students. And because of the past experience I've had doing this in the library system, they've been a lot of fun. In fact, a library lecture I did in 2008 at one library led to me going to all 9 libraries in the Somerset County system. So it's that word of mouth, because librarians do talk.
Yes, we do.
Networks. there's a network amongst them. And so I'm honored, since my wife is a librarian, that I'm honored that I'm part of that communication.
That's wonderful. Well, I mean, your energy and passion are just so clear and so obvious. I think this is going to be an amazing workshop, and I can't wait. I really can't. I am so excited that you're sharing all of your gifts with our patrons. It's really wonderful, and it's perfect time of year. I mean, I'm a huge Halloween fan, so this is the time of year that I really look forward to transforming everything, changing everything.
And there are ways that families, in their own way in time, with this Halloween coming up, there may be ways that they need to rethink the celebration of Halloween, or they'll go forward with it, or how they're dealing with trick-or-treating, or maybe they get within their pod and they get together and they're like, we're going to have a face painting extravaganza for our Halloween party. And we've gotten some water-based face paint at the local Halloween store, and we're going to do these different face painting stuff. To me, I want to empower families to make their own decisions and to have fun and to explore and to drop some seeds into some minds that this is possible. And what I'm excited is so often I talk to students after they've taken workshops that I taught at different summer camps, and they're like, I want to do that. And I'm like, great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then I come back the next year and they're like, I designed makeup for 3 shows this year. And I'm like, that's the ripple effect. That's the ripple effect of education. It's dropping the seed, dropping the rock in the pond, letting the ripples come out, and you never know how it's going to come back. So for me, there's nothing better.
Our next interview is with, Josh of the Bright Star Touring Company. They're performing some works of Edgar Allan Poe this weekend on Saturday at 2 p.m. over Zoom. So they'll have A Telltale Heart, The Raven, The Bells. This is a family-friendly performance, and nothing too scary or gory, but some of the best Edgar Allan Poe stories and poems brought to life with some very talented actors. So let's learn a little bit more about how these people bring these topics to life. Okay, so first, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. So I am Josh Batenhorst. That's Baten as in Nancy, Horst, Tom. So, and I'm the CEO of our company. I have been working with Bright Star since 2016, although the founder and I have been friends basically since he started the company way back in 2003.
Wow.
So we live in Asheville, North Carolina, is where we start. Was where we is where we are headquartered, and then we hire actors from all over the place. But then typically we would be touring the globe, 5 or more tours right now, but right now we're down to just 2 online tours, and so because with COVID, we wanted actors that could perform together, so they had to be cohabitating.
Right.
Yeah, so we've got a couple that are roommates in Raleigh, and then we've got a couple that are a married couple here in Asheville that have taken it on. The married couple in Asheville actually jumped on this summer and did a bunch of school shows for us, library shows over the summer. Library is a very busy time for the summer.
Oh yeah, yep, we sure are.
Yeah, and so we did a bunch of library shows with them this summer. They stayed on board, and we added more shows to their tour, so they've got like 7 shows that they
Wow.
We're going to add another one. And not all of them, I mean, some of them they've done 40 times. I mean, Aesop's Fables, Once Upon a Time, those were very popular this summer. And then some of them, the newer ones, we haven't done as many times. And I've got another group, like I said, out of Raleigh, and those guys are younger actors, but they're very good as well. And so it's just very lucky to get a couple of really, skilled performers. Both of them are graduates of University, UNC. I think they're both UNCG grads or somewhere like that. They're North Carolinians though. So yeah, and then we've got another group that's coming on to do some Black History shows for us, but they're not moving in. I'd love to have those on right now because I think it's popular given everything that's going on.
Absolutely.
But not moving in together until December. So
well, and I mean it's amazing, the ways that you've had to adapt and kind of keep things going.
Oh man, it's been nuts. In fact, when COVID hit, we knew everything was going to shut down, so we furloughed our entire staff. So I'm basically a one-person machine organizing everything on the back end, whereas we used to have a staff of 5 people doing that. So
wow,
it's a lot.
yeah. I'll tell you.
And I just hired back some of those old staff to do like contract work.
Mm-hmm.
We're not at a place where we can do full-time employment yet for people, but I did. I did need some help to we're starting to get so many shows that we're
sure
some help to manage some of those.
But that's great. Good for you. Congratulations.
Well, thanks. I mean, it was really scary because the fall, typically in August, schools will start booking shows, but nobody booked in August because everybody was just trying to figure out what they were doing. I mean, I can't. You've become very forgiving, I guess. In this climate. Not that there's anything to forgive, but everybody was just trying to figure out what they're doing, and I think over the last couple of weeks, people have really since the last week in September, people kind of have come to the grips like, okay, we know what we're doing now. We know that we can't just we want to still do things that enhance our school climate and culture and address bullying, because a lot of those things just don't stop just because we're
absolutely
partially virtual. So some people started booking shows about 3 weeks ago, and I'm sitting there. I took a couple hours off this afternoon to do some things and came back, and my inbox is flooded with like 40 emails. So that's good. That's a good thing. I'm all bookings. And not all people wanting refund for some reason. But,
oh no. So tell me a little bit more about your theater company.
Well, what do you want to know? I mean, Bright Star does shows. We try to do shows that are relevant to students today and to their experiences. We've got anti-bullying shows, we've got science shows, we've got Black history shows, we've got women's history show. We're adding a Latinx, Hispanic heritage type show next year. Well, we were hoping to launch that this year, but just
yeah.
Clearly. I mean, and we typically, in a regular year, we'll perform for over 500,000 students.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Yeah. But not this year. I don't know what. Like this year, very far down.
Right. How do you develop your shows?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, for the main part, we're plugged into schools, and we listen.
Mm-hmm.
We do surveys of schools, and we look at what kind of things that people like, So we have done. It just really, we just kind of think about what do schools need enrichment around.
Gotcha.
And go from there, and then we get an idea, and then we get a title or a concept, and then we sit down and we write the shows.
Wow. And then I presume then you workshop it and kind of just develop it out from there. That's amazing.
I mean, a good one, for example, is our show Captain Friendship and the Pirates of the Pandemic. I was talking to a lot of our former customers this summer, and they were saying things like, hey, we really need something that's about what kids are going through right now with the pandemic, and especially the social emotional stuff.
Yeah.
And so I got that idea of like, okay, well, what can we do? And so we have these kind of stock characters, Captain Friendship and Amazing Amigo, from another play. And I thought, well, what if we use those characters, but they're dealing with the pandemic instead of being able to go out and, be, a force for good in the world, which is kind of like their superheroes in the other play.
Mm-hmm.
So we also have a play called The Pirates of Bully Bay. And so I was like, well, we got these pirate costumes. Why don't we turn all these emotions into pirates? Do some personification.
That's awesome.
And then see, have them deal with some of these emotions like fear of missing out, isolation, just, lack of hard to communicate feelings and flexible. Being flexible with your thoughts and feelings,
right?
And being able to change and those things. So that's what we did. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's. I think it's really cool that you can kind of be so flexible and like address everybody's needs, right in that space and create something new that addresses, what schools and libraries and other groups need.
Yeah. I mean, it's a challenge every year because, we typically have to advertise about a year out, but right now nobody's looking a year out.
No.
People are booking for the next couple of weeks,
Right.
Which is good. I mean, that at least they're booking. So.
Right. Yeah. It's better than the alternative.
Exactly.
So, can you tell me a little bit about this workshop? This is going to be on Edgar Allan Poe, and it's family friendly, right?
It sure is. Yeah. I mean, there's some spooky stuff in there because it's Poe.
Right.
And this show has two of our stock characters, Lenny and Mabel, who are quote unquote the greatest actors in the world. And they will regale your audience with the words and poems and stories of Edgar Allan Poe. And it's so it's got the Telltale Heart, which is probably the spookiest of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a fun thing with that, where they actually did, because it's remote, they were able to do some fun movie spooky stuff with it. And like make it more movie-like. So in the middle of the show, so it's got a little bit of multimedia to it, where we'll throw up the movie, and I'm excited about that. I think it's going to work out really well. It's going to be fun.
So that's cool that you kind of were able to use the technology to give you a new opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Neat.
And so that's kind of a creepy part of the story. And then it's also got the Cask of Amontillado, which is a very creepy story. And then it's got Annabelle Lee, which is a poem. The Raven, which is, of course, probably Poe's most famous poem, The Raven.
Mm-hmm.
And The Bells, which is a fun.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, just kind of honoring a master of the macabre in a show, and I think your audience will like. I mean, I think they'll enjoy it. These two actors are very good, and it's a good show.
Yeah, I mean, and perfect for Halloween. So, So there's going to be a performance. Is there any kind of a question and answer, or is it just more of a performance?
Yeah. No. So there will be a little preview where I will get the audience up to speed on how to participate using Zoom, and then there's the show. Are you guys doing the pre-recorded show? I can't remember. I think you're doing the live show.
I think we're doing live. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll do a little preview for the audience about how to participate using the Zoom webinar, because Zoom webinar is a little bit different than the meetings. You won't see yourself unless you get brought up on stage.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and then there's the question and answer. You might tell anybody who's registered, you might say, tell them to update their Zoom, because there's a couple of features that if your Zoom has been updated, you can use in the webinar that are not there if you're using an older version. So.
Oh, that's a good tip. We'll let people know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to the performance. I am a big fan of Edgar Allan Poe. So.
Well, then you'll love the show. You will absolutely love the show.
Well.
And we'll send you guys a recording of the show that we do, as well, for anybody that missed it. And,
that's great. Because these days you never know quite what to expect, right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me today, Josh. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for your interest, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Coming up on the 27th at 7 p.m., Haunted New Jersey and Spiritualism. So this is a special event hosted by Laura Hoffman, who is the founder and director of the New Jersey Ghost Hunter Society. And the program is for 18 and up, and it covers ghostly locales of the Garden State, presented to include the history, the mystery, and the haunted activity. She's going to talk about psychics, mediumship, and everything from, talking boards to charlatans. So this is going to be really interesting. And what I have for you is a short clip used with permission from an interview that she did for Magnificent Obsessions a couple years ago. So you can enjoy this, and I will put a link to the entire video in the show notes if you would like to watch it.
I think the addiction of all of this, it's like getting on a roller coaster. You know it's going to scare you. And when you're going down like at a 90-degree angle, you're going, why did I do this? But you survive it and you get off and you're thinking, that was awesome, I got to do it again. And ghost hunting it's like that. It's exciting, but it's also, you've opened this can of worms. And you answer one question, but you've also created 6 more that need to be answered. I got started with a keen interest in the paranormal in childhood. Actually, my father turned me on to Twilight Zone. From there, I actually spent my childhood even in haunted places. It was kind of like really being destined for this. When I was about 14, I had to finish out 8th grade in this haunted house. I had the very tiny room at the top of the stairs, and because it was so old and the ceilings were a lot lower, my father being tall, he's like 6'1", every night when he would be coming upstairs after watching the news, there was that landing, and his head would hit it. And I got used to hearing, like up 3 steps, bump, 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 boom, and then he'd continue up the stairs. So one night, I remember laying in bed, and I could hear heavy footsteps coming up the stairs, and I thought, oh wow, Dad's going to bed now. But I never heard him hit his head. Then they stopped right outside my door. I remember laying there thinking, something's not right, that's not my dad.
Her haunted history led Laura on a quest for solid proof. In 1993, she founded the New Jersey Ghost Hunter Society, a group of volunteer paranormal investigators who help homeowners determine if their spooky experience is really supernatural.
Gosh, I've never totaled up how many investigations I've done. It has to have been at least close to 100. I mean, between traveling, on our own, places that we've stayed at, dined at, using that as a disguise to really investigate the place. But, that's how trips get planned in our family.
Okay, one more program I want to really highlight for the month. On Halloween, the 31st, at 9:30 in the morning until 1 p.m., we have a group of young entrepreneurs, our Treps, which will be hosting their first marketplace at the Blairstown Farmers Market, which is located at Blairstown Elementary School on Sunset Road. So this is a really special program. We've done this a number of times. You may have seen us during the summer. But these hardworking kids are going to school all day and then once a week coming to an extra class to learn about how to figure out profit and expenses, how to price your item, how to do market research, how to advertise your product, all these really important aspects to starting a business. And they even make a business plan. If they need to borrow money, they do a loan agreement. So these are kids that are working really hard to learn how to start their own business, be an entrepreneur, invent, create, and really, put back into our local economy. We're really thankful that the Blairstown Farmers Market and the Food Shed Alliance are our hosts every time for these markets because they're always well attended and the kids just get so much from the experience. So I really encourage you to come on out. Again, that's on Saturday, Halloween, October 31st, 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. At the Farmers Market at Blairstown Elementary School in Blairstown, of course. More details are available on our website, but we're going to have a wide variety of products. Some harvest wreaths are going to be there, lanterns, pumpkin bars and hot apple cider, some germaphobe kits, tie-dyed masks. beautiful bracelets and jewelry, just a little bit of something for everyone. Oh, great pet treats. How could I forget that? So definitely take a look. I hope that you will come on out and support these hardworking kids. So that's my own plug for a program that I just love hosting every single year. All right, before I leave you for the week, I do want to cover some of the other amazing stuff that we offer, because after all, our library is so much more than books. So a reminder that we do have the new app that you can find if you search for Warren County Library in your favorite app store. Definitely install that. It's got all kinds of good information, makes it easy to register for programs. A reminder that we're still doing curbside pickup. So you can go to the website, you can request your books, put them on hold, and then they'll put them all together. You make an appointment to come and pick up, and everything will be ready, bagged up for you, and it'll have the last 4 numbers of your library card and the first 2 numbers of your last name, and that's how you find your pickup. Of course, keep in mind that we are open. Each branch is open 1 day a week. So right now, on Mondays, Northeast is open. On Tuesdays, Southwest is open. On Wednesdays, Headquarters is open. And on Thursday, Catherine Dixon Hoffman branch is open. We've just extended the hours. So we were open until 6. Now we're open until 8 p.m. So we open at 9. From 9 to 10, we're there for our seniors and others that need a safe browsing experience. Then from 10 to 1, we're open to the public. From 1 to 2, we close to clean and sanitize everything. And then we're open again until 8. And just a quick reminder that all books do need to be quarantined for 4 days before they go back in circulation. So it may be a little while before you see something return when you've brought it back. But just be aware that that's a policy right now. I want to remind you that we have a great YouTube channel. Again, if you go on to YouTube and just type in Warren County Library System, you're going to find all kinds of videos with crafts, STEM activities, story time, tutorials on how to use different services through the library. So definitely check that out. YouTube is a great resource for us to make it easy for us to archive all kinds of information that's going to be useful to you. Keep in mind we have our grab and go service now. And basically what that is you fill out the form on the website, and you can say, I want books, I want DVDs, I want all kinds of magazines, periodicals, whatever. Give the librarian an idea of what you like. Do you like mysteries? Do you like nonfiction? And they will curate a collection of items for you. For adults, that'll be 5 items. For kids, that can be up to 10 items. They'll put that all together and you can pick it up. So it's a really fun way if you're not sure what you want tonight. Maybe you just know that you want some superhero movies and you want someone to pick out some things that maybe you haven't seen before. They will do that. They'll curate an awesome collection for you. We also have our Beyond Books offerings. And what this is instead of books, well, it's things like book club kits, a bug safari kit, chess for beginners, a dinosaur backpack, Dungeons and Dragons starter kit, even Wi-Fi hotspots, laser tag, all metal detecting, origami, paper quilling, rubber stamping, all kinds of really exciting items that come in a kit for you to try something new. And especially if maybe you can't go out as much as you normally would like, what a great way to maybe take up a new hobby right through your public library. Doesn't cost you anything. I also want to mention that we have our special book club kits. So what this is you request the book club kit. It has 10 copies of the book, discussion questions, and the author bio. And we have so many different kits. Lots of fiction, The Kite Runner, Little Fires Everywhere. That's a good one. The Handmaid's Tale, been in the news a lot lately. So, books like that. And then memoirs like Educated. So there's a whole bunch of kits that you can request. And whether you're able to get together in person or you just get together over Zoom or over a phone call, you can still have a book club. All the hard work is done for you. You just have to sit and enjoy the book and chat with your friends. So take a look at that. You can find that on our website as well and request. We have quite a few different collections that you can pick from. All right. I think that's quite a lot for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to our More Than Books podcast. I will be back again in 2 weeks to let you know what's happening in November. In the meantime, make sure you check out our website at warrenlib.org, WARRENLIB.org. We've got lots of information there for you, including information on all these great programs, our event calendar, plus all the digital resources that we offer, from audiobooks to ebooks to online magazines, music. You can stream videos. It's a tremendous collection. So don't think that just because we're all kind of staying in today that you don't have lots of resources available through the Warren County Library. We are doing everything that we can to make sure that you have things to keep you entertained, to keep your minds growing and learning. If you have any questions, feel free to call our library. The numbers are listed on the website. Each branch is there to answer your questions. We also have our Ask a Librarian function on the website. So you can just click on that and ask your question, and someone will get back to you as soon as possible, usually very quickly. So that's a little green tab right on the website. Just ask a question. All right, I will see you all or hear you all in 2 weeks. Again, my name is Sandy Roberts. I'm the Makerspace Coordinator for the Warren County Library System. This is more than books, because today's modern library really is so much more than books. Take care.